guys once again. Gentleman Jim the Tailor.
Victoria Baylor, Dressmaker. How are you guys?
Glad to see you guys again. You know, we touching on a lot of subjects and some we're repeating. Hopefully we can break it down a little further. This morning we're talking on
time management.
Time management.
Truth be told, I don't really think it's one of those topics you can visit one time and never visit again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we'll be doing that for a reason. Because sometimes it goes over your head and you don't really get the grasp of it. So like anything else, repetition, you know, it starts to sink in.
You're totally right. And it is a topic we kind of touched on, I think, maybe a year ago.
Yeah, it's about a year ago.
And we mentioned that we're trying to start 2017 off with a bang by getting all of our affairs in order, getting ourselves structured and organized so that we can attack these projects and actually see some work getting done, right? Okay, so time management. So I don't know what that means to most people. Most people like to think of, you know, that's the means. I guess you have a lot of different views of it. Some people are so swamped with things to do that they feel like they can't possibly just grab a hold of that time and really maximize it. You have other people with more time than they know what to do with. And unfortunately, they probably just squander it. And then you have people that you watch, like really successful people, and you wonder, how in the world are they able to get so much done in, you know, a span of time? Well, the truth is there's 24 hours in a day. We all know that. Mr. Jim doesn't have any more than I do. I don't have any more than he does.
Nope.
It's the only arena where there is an even playing field.
That's right.
Is that correct?
24 hours is 24 hours.
That's right. So with time management, I like to think of it, and I'm sure Mr. Jim does as well. I don't like to just so much focus on the time part. I like to think of it as managing myself.
That's really what it is.
That's right. If I can manage myself, then managing my time is going to be very, very easy. And time is a resource. Just like anything else, it's probably one of the most precious resources because you can't get it back. So you can lose your money and get it back. You can lose a lot of things and get it back, but time, once it's gone, it's gone.
That's it.
It's gone.
We had a saying in my neighborhood when I was growing up, and it's still true, that I have more time than I have money.
That's right.
Got the time, you can create the money.
Yeah.
But when you run out of time, nothing can happen.
That's right. No more chance for opportunity, right? Okay, so we're kind of going to break this up into 5 parts, and we'll just chat real quick about it. And then, as I told Mr. Jim probably has his own schedule to tell you about that. I'll take you back to my sewing studio where I have a little bit more of the resources that I use and give you a little bit more in-depth on how I view time. But as far as our overall approach, just remember, like I said, the clock starts with time. You can't turn it off.
No.
So that's one thing. It's ticking now. We're watching it because we have to watch our camera and everything. It's always moving. So there's 5 important factors of time management. Number 1 being you want to prioritize. 2 is you want to block. 3 is you want to keep a list. 4, be ready to shift. And 5, you want to maximize. So we'll kind of chat about all these individually. Number 1, prioritize.
Prioritize.
How easy is that for you to do?
Well, I have to because I have brick and mortar. I have a time when I open up and a time when I close. And within that time, I have to do certain things. What I mainly do is I set aside what I need to do right now. I set aside what I have to do tomorrow and the day after and the day after. And I work them in order that way. Now, there are times when I will disrupt the order only because somebody might come in with a special that they want done. Can I slide them in or not? If it's something that I'm working on but it's not due until 3 or 4 days down the road, then I can. But I still work them in order because, like I'm saying, people depend on me to do certain things for them. Then I have my students that come through. They're supposed to be on time. Does it always work out that way? No. They come in different times because I have an open door policy, you know, for that. But that's okay. As long as they get here, we work the time in. But see, I work my time around working their time. If I give them an assignment, I can go back to doing what I do. I don't just sit around watching them, correcting them. They'll come to me when they need correcting. This in turn gives me the time to go back to my projects.
So it sounds like you know how to do that little move and shift
yes.
and all that
Yes.
kind of stuff. And that comes with being a professional. Now, was there any point in your life where you felt like you were drowning with time? Like maybe if you started your career and there was just so much on you, or from the start, have you just been good at just managing?
Well, when you start this career, especially if you do it as a profession, you learn real quick how to manage your time.
you
really
better,
do.
or you're going to sink.
Because it's a matter of the process of doing what you have to do and when it's due. There's no way around it. If you take something in, if you take an order in that's down the road, 2 or 3 months down the road, some type of project, could be wedding, could be whatever, and it's 2 or 3 months or weeks down the road, you still have to manage the time leading up to it. No, it doesn't take you that much time to do the project, but you don't want to continuously bring projects in front of it and all of a sudden you get to it and you have all of this sitting in here.
Ooh.
And this one is due because they asked for it way down the road.
Absolutely right. It's funny you mentioned that because I just got a call from a client yesterday. It looks like I'm doing a September wedding. And my first thing is I always create kind of like a timeline when we're going to get A, B, C, D, E
Sure.
done. Because the last thing, like you said, is you end up like a domino effect. Everything piles up behind that one task and then you're just struggling. So okay, simply for me, prioritizing means you just can't do everything.
No, you can't.
So that's the biggest problem with people right there. Everybody wants to do everything. Priority says there is a stack of things to do, but you're just going to have to knock a bunch off so that you can focus and reasonably get done what is most important to you, which means you have to choose. I know there's this old saying, you can eat your, have your cake and eat it too. You can't always do that when it comes to
Not in
time
sewing.
management.
Not
Yeah,
in
yeah,
sewing.
and especially in sewing, you have to decide. So that's an important thing. So prioritizing was the first thing. Decide what's important, decide when it has to get done, decide how it fits into your schedule, and decide how you can make other things fit too. One of my favorite things is a technique called, or I like to call it, blocking. To be effective, especially in sewing, it is better if you have adequate amounts of time to actually sew.
True.
This whole 15 minutes here, 30 minutes there, you ain't gonna get through no big project like that.
No.
Now, for hand sewing and doing little small jobs, yes, but actually putting something together, it's not really gonna happen, is it?
No. When you prioritize, when you block the time, now me, because I've been doing this so long, I know how much time it really takes me to do just about every operation that I do.
That's the trick. Very smart.
So,
Yeah.
as you start into this, especially on a professional level, you'll need to know how much time that it takes you to do a specific job or create a specific item. That's the easy way to block it. If it takes you 2 hours to do this particular thing, you know you've got to have that 2-hour window in there.
Absolutely.
So.
I completely agree. And what I have here is, which I'll show a little bit later, I guess if I have time too, is actually, this is my entire master schedule. So this is like my whole life for a week, what it looks like. And I have a lot of different things going on, but I always block them off. So like for instance, so 5 in the morning, ain't been happening lately. Between 5 and 5:50, I'm getting up. I have my devotional time with the Lord, because I got to put him first, prayer time. And then I know I'm getting my daughter off for school. And then I know by 7 a.m. I'm supposed to be working out. Now, and then after that, I know between 8 and 11, I do trading, so I'm focusing on that. And then after that, I have a 1 hour lunch break. Then I have 3 parts for sewing. I have a noon to 3 segment. I have a 3:30 to 4 o'clock break. Sometimes I get a little bit crazy at Facebook. Hopefully I don't go over. And then I have my second part is from 4 to 6. I have another little break for dinner. And then I have 8 to about 9:30, which sometimes spills over to 11 and 12, given the project.
Sure does.
But I try to block spaces off where I do, and I learned this from a friend and from all my, research on time management. And I find that if I know in a particular time frame is devoted to sewing, then I'm going to focus my energy on that. And what it does is it keeps me from panicking about the other areas of my life because I know they're blocked for. And it's like, oh, okay, well, I know I'm going to get a chance to take a break. I know I'm going to eat sometimes, and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, kind of creating a master schedule for yourself, kind of like we talked about, mastering yourself gives everything a specific place, a specific time. Now, is this perfect 100% of the time? Of course not. Things happen, things shift. I might get in a big order. But what this does is set a standard of order so that when the chaos sometimes does ensue, I know where I can shift and pull and maybe reschedule. So that's what that is.
No, pick that up, back up.
Oh.
Because I have to say something about that. Now, understand, that's because Victoria does this as a profession.
That's true too.
You have guys that work out there, all go to school. Same principle though,
Yeah.
except you have to now put those blocks in after you've done that. If you have a family, you gotta come from work or school or whatnot and take your family and put it in there. Usually your time comes after either family time or you've done studying or homework from school or whatever you had to do. But it's the same principle. What you have to do is focus on the sewing time and the after time. Now, when I say that, it's like this. You come home, you relax, you're sitting back, everybody's taken care of, and what do? You either get on social media, checking stuff, or you can watch television. Or you can take that same time that you would do those things, now block in the time you have for a project that you're doing, something that you're finishing for somebody.
Okay, so that was prioritizing and blocking. Our last 3 items is you want to keep a list.
Keep a list.
That's kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Write a list of what you need to get accomplished. And what I would include a second column, which is dictate how much time. And then that way, if you do have a 10-minute break and you know you can hand sew some buttons, you can plug it in.
Sure.
Be ready to shift. Chaos happens. That's Murphy's Law. Be ready to shift your schedule as necessary to accommodate any kind of whatever that happens. But don't be discouraged. Get it done.
That's right. That's right.
And then the last thing is maximize your time. Don't waste it. If you have a block of 3 hours, don't waste it not sewing straight, having to rip stuff out 50 times. Make it count was the thing. So I'll go and we'll come to my sewing room and I'll actually show you some more stuff. But we're going to sign out with Mr. Jim now.
See you guys later. Remember, time management is the key to sewing. Getting it done right the first time. That's why I always talk about perfecting your upfront skills, your straight sewing, because you guys spend too much time taking it out to do it again. But one thing always remember, it takes the same amount of time to sew it straight as it takes to not sew it straight. Same amount of time, but it takes 9 times more time to take it out and redo it.
Absolutely.
Time.
That's right. Don't waste it.
Okay. See you guys again.
Bye. See you part 2.